My wife said she was working out to look better, but I realized too late better for whom. My wife is 30 years old. When she was in college, she regularly went to the gym. At some point she stopped going, mainly due to her busy schedule I think, and started working out at home or running outside. A year and a half ago, she said she wanted to start going to the gym again. Now she has a job that allows her to dedicate more time to it. At first everything was fine, but gradually the workouts became more and more frequent. She signed up for classes on both weekend days, started going to the gym every day, then in the morning before work and again in the evening. Every single day. If she's stressed, she goes to the gym. Having a crisis, straight to the gym. We have a fight, she rushes to the gym. She's now 4 months pregnant. I'm surprised we even managed to conceive a child. I understand that it's safe for her to exercise, especially considering she was doing it before pregnancy, but she's not reducing the intensity. If she misses one of her regular workouts, she becomes irritable, like an addict without a fix. So strange. Of course, she gets angry when I say that I think this is already an unhealthy obsession with the gym, and that I miss her. We don't spend time together anymore because now she's constantly hanging out at the gym. She has a whole group of friends and acquaintances there who seem more interesting to her than I am. Why don't we go to the gym together? The gym is my personal time, she says. And it's not like I feel insecure because she's in great shape and I'm a fat slob. I work out too and I'm in good shape. My job requires me to stay in shape, so I just can't relax even if I wanted to. I genuinely believe her gym habits are unhealthy. She's constantly in a state of overtraining. Yes, that's a real thing. But worse than that, it's become her way of escaping from all problems in life. She never tries to solve anything. Just runs to the gym for a dose of endorphins and that's it. She doesn't even have time to do anything around the house because how can you do anything when you're constantly at the gym? It's gotten to the point where all the household chores and cooking are on me. I don't expect her to do everything herself, but it should at least be shared responsibilities. Even acquaintances have mentioned this to me. They've noticed that she's changed, and many of her friends and relatives hardly see her anymore. Some have even suggested that she's having an affair with someone from the gym. Tell me I'm not making a mountain out of a molehill, and all this really does sound unhealthy. But my wife insists that everything is absolutely normal. First update. I recently wrote about my wife's gym addiction. She spends almost all her free time there. She often goes to work out twice a day, and sometimes even 3 times if we fight in the evening and she needs to escape instead of talking to me. She won't let me into her gym and refuses to go to mine. Her gym is her space, my gym is mine, and according to her, that's how it should be. I would be happy if she came with me. I've invited her many times. She's now 18 weeks pregnant. This is our first child. Before pregnancy, she was training like crazy and continues in the same spirit now. I really don't think she's cheating on me. People wrote this under my last post, and I laughed heartily. You can tell from my wife that she spends a lot of time at the gym, and she's in excellent shape. So it's obvious that she really goes there to work out. I was completely sure that infidelity had nothing to do with it, and when I wrote that post 9 days ago, I didn't even consider such a possibility. I'm ashamed to admit, but after reading many comments under that post, I wondered if I was too confident in her fidelity. Usually her phone is always with her, but she left it on the kitchen counter, and however much of an idiot I felt, I decided to quickly scroll through the messages. She had a chat open with some guy. I recognized the name, the same as one of the guys from the gym she often mentions. She has many friends and acquaintances there. She was even at a wedding of one couple from the gym last fall. So I didn't stress too much initially until I started reading the conversation. Not that I ever wanted to know what this guy's junk looks like, but now I do. My wife was gone for literally a minute or two, so I had to scroll quickly. I was furious. I asked her what the hell this conversation was. She started yelling at me for going through her phone. I said she was acting strange, that this gym obsession really worries me. And I just decided to look. I felt guilty myself because I thought I wouldn't find anything at all. She was screaming, "It's nothing! It's nothing!" But it clearly didn't look like nothing. She seemed quite interested in this nothing, as it appeared to me. I wanted to know if she was fooling around with him. How long had this been going on? She denied everything. I left the house because I was furious. But before leaving, I threw her phone on the floor and smashed it to pieces. She screamed at me, called me names for breaking the phone, hit me with all her strength on the back. I left, went to my brother's place. My brother and his wife were shocked, although my sister-in-law had been constantly telling me that something wasn't right with her gym fixation. I came back home. My wife was lying in bed crying. Obviously, she couldn't call anyone. She made a whole drama. I didn't know if you'd even come home. Yeah, right. Tonight, I took her phone to be repaired. She doesn't deserve it, but I still feel like an asshole for breaking it. I still don't know how far things went. She refuses to admit anything beyond what I already saw. Was it sexting? That's bad enough. Or something more? I'm convinced it's much more, but she refuses to give up the phone and now pretends like I'm a terrible monster who abuses her because I broke her phone. Yes, I'm not proud of it, but honestly, after she hit me on the back, I wanted to throw her over my shoulder, although I never have and never will lay a hand on her. Second update. My wife confessed to cheating. Today my wife asked me to stay home so we could talk. Yesterday she lay in bed all day trying to evoke sympathy from me, but I completely ignored her and eventually left for a Super Bowl family party. I wasn't particularly in the mood to go, but I wasn't going to sit at home with her either. This really hurt her. She kept texting me things like, "Who just leaves like that?" When something like this happens, who can be so cold and callous as to just go to a party? Today I stayed home to talk. She's in tears, saying she's very sorry. According to her, she really went to the gym twice a day because she likes it there, her friends are there, it lifts her mood, she has fun there. That's where my wife met this guy and he started flirting with her. Everyone loves him. He's one of the most popular guys at the gym. I didn't even know that gyms have popular people. She admitted that she flirted back, but didn't mean anything by it. At first, she hardly responded to the flirting, but he gave her butterflies in her stomach, and she didn't notice how she started flirting back. She said it reminded her of being in love, like in school. They started texting, at first just as friends, nothing sexual. This went on for several months, but every time a message came from him, her mood lifted. She really liked him, but she told him she was married and nothing could happen between them. According to her, he continued flirting anyway and said, "Of course, we won't cross that line," until eventually they did cross it. She allegedly tried to restrain herself for some time, but one day they kissed. My wife admitted that she liked it, but at the same time felt it was wrong. Although apparently it wasn't wrong enough because that same night they slept together. She described it as feeling like falling in love for the first time. She couldn't think about anything but him. But whether she's in love with him, she doesn't know. Is the baby mine? She thinks so, but there's always a small chance it's his. He always used condoms, so in her opinion, the baby isn't his, but they really were sleeping together during the period when she got pregnant. She says she loves me, but can't help that there's supposedly some crazy spark between her and that guy. She doesn't know if she loves him, doesn't know for sure if this is my child, doesn't know why she did all this, doesn't know what we should do now. And the nail in the coffin, she asked, "Would you really leave me if the baby turned out not to be yours?" She had the audacity to ask me such a question. I said that of course I would leave and that I'm not going to raise someone else's child. She looked shocked, said, "Really? After everything we've had, after our whole history, you wouldn't even think about it a little?" She's apparently really not in her right mind. I said no, I wouldn't even think about it. She agreed to a DNA test, with tears in her eyes, as if I should feel sorry for her. I don't know this woman. She cried the whole time, but these weren't tears of guilt or remorse. These were tears of self-pity, like trying to make me feel guilty. Guilty of what? Because her heart is breaking. You see? She destroyed my life, but I just feel numb. Right now I feel almost nothing. It would have been bad enough if she had just cheated on me. But she couldn't stop when she found out she was pregnant. I could have at least left if not for the pregnancy. Maybe I still can, but I'll only know for sure after the test results. She's almost certain the baby is mine, which means I'm stuck with her forever. My child will grow up with divorced parents. There's nothing left to fight over. She'll stop looking for ways to hurt me or get revenge for some imaginary grievances. Right now she's still angry and hurt, but maybe over time she'll be able to let it all go too, while she's still living in defensive mode. And guess what? She's pregnant again. Well, at least that's what she says. Definitely not by me. They claim she was pregnant and lost the baby due to stress that I allegedly caused her. All I know is that maybe I avoided another legal headache, since at that time we were still legally married. Custody sucks. We have joint legal custody, but she has primary physical custody. My ex doesn't work now. She stays home with the baby while her boyfriend supports her. And I have a job that sometimes requires travel. Plus her tears and tearful letters portraying me as a terrible person clearly worked against me. She knows how to be convincing. As a result, I see my daughter every other weekend from Friday to Sunday, and for 2 hours on Tuesday and Thursday each week. This isn't what I agreed to. The court ordered mandatory mediation. We went through it, but couldn't reach an agreement. In the end, when the court had to make a decision, I just got screwed over. Our holidays are also mapped out for the entire year. I got Christmas Eve, but without overnight stay, and the day after Christmas. She got Christmas itself, essentially just duplicating our regular schedule. If Christmas had fallen to me, I would have at least tried to be human and let my child's mother see our daughter for some time on that day. This is her first Christmas and she won't let me spend it with my daughter. She's just doing it out of spite. She's not putting the child's interests first. I'm not going to accept this schedule long term, and I can speak freely about this even here, knowing she might read it, because I've already told both her and the court that I don't agree with this decision. I'm glad the divorce is finished, but honestly, anger, sadness, disappointment, a whole cocktail of feelings about how everything ended, still lives in me. I wish things had been different. The holidays only make this state worse. Everything becomes even more depressing. Update 18, maybe things aren't so bad. It seems the wind is starting to blow in a different direction in the story with my ex-wife and her boyfriend, that same gym lover. I understand that for my daughter's sake, I need to start developing different habits. One of them is not bad-mouthing her mom and possibly even that guy in my daughter's presence, regardless of my feelings. This is the most common advice from those who grew up in families after divorce. She doesn't understand words yet, but I've already developed the bad habit of calling them certain names in her presence. Maybe things still aren't fundamentally changing, but I have hope that co-parenting doesn't have to be hell for the rest of my life. As you know, if you've been following the story, I was very angry about the holiday schedule. But the holidays flew by pretty quickly, and at some point I was even glad they were over. Last Thursday, I went to pick up my daughter for my precious 2 hours. Even if I only have 2 hours, I still don't skip them. And that's when my ex said she needed to tell me something and immediately started crying. Her boyfriend wasn't home. Usually he's not there yet when I come by to get my daughter after work. She told me that the day before, our daughter had been taken to the hospital. What the fuck? Why didn't anyone tell me? She said everything ended up fine, nothing serious. The baby had a dislocated shoulder. Her arm popped out of the joint, but they didn't know what was wrong at the time. You know, it's tiring to write my daughter in every other sentence, so I'll just call her M. So, my ex says that M was acting normally in the first half of Wednesday, but after her afternoon nap, she started having a tantrum. Crying, screaming, wouldn't eat, nothing helped. She had no fever, and my ex couldn't figure out what was wrong. She thought maybe M was constipated. M has had such problems before, or maybe her clothes were too tight, so she changed her. This went on for several hours. Then he came home, and when M continued screaming, he said it was an unusual cry. He examined her and noticed something was wrong with her arm. That's when they went to the emergency room. Fortunately, it turned out to be easily fixable. My ex-wife was telling me all this through tears. She said what a terrible mother she was. Insisted that she probably pulled the arm out of the socket herself and didn't even notice, that she didn't see that something was wrong with M's arm. She thought M was just fussing over some minor thing. She was painfully ashamed that he figured it all out right away while she, the birth mother, didn't. She kept apologizing over and over, saying she didn't know what was wrong with M, that she was sorry she caused him pain. that she didn't mean to, didn't know how or when it happened, but was convinced she did it. I was furious that I wasn't told at all that M was taken to the hospital, especially before it became clear what was wrong with her. I said that from now on, if M goes to the emergency room, I must know immediately, no exceptions. I would have told her in her place, regardless of what's happening between us. She apologized and said she knows she should have told me earlier. We hugged. I didn't even think about it, we just hugged. And then it hit me, we hugged, and it wasn't even weird. And then one of the most surreal events happened that I completely didn't expect. It wasn't my weekend with M. I pick her up every other weekend from Friday to Sunday. I went to the store and ran into her boyfriend, and he had M in his arms without my wife, just him and my daughter. I never imagined such a scenario. It was a real punch to the gut, because anyone looking at them from the side would probably think, there goes Dad with his daughter, only it's not his daughter, it's my daughter. It was so strange to see him walking in a public place with my daughter, and I suddenly realized he spends more time with her than I do. Who knows where he takes her? This probably wasn't the first time he was out with her without her mother. And what killed me was how natural it all looked. He was doing all these dad things, he had a bag, baby stuff, everything looked normal, and I felt like a stranger uncle just watching someone else carry my child. As disgusting as it was for me, I greeted him. Honestly, I just wanted to see M. Maybe even do something showy and stupid so everyone around would understand. Hey, this is my child. I'm her father, not him. Yes, I know it's stupid, but still. I thanked him for noticing that something was wrong with M that time and for taking her to the hospital. He surprisingly apologized for them not contacting me. He said they just didn't want to worry me prematurely until they understood what was wrong. Then he said he regrets what happened, that he himself no longer knows what to believe from her words, but he doesn't think I'm such a terrible person as she paints me. He sees that I love M and agrees that they should have told me right away. I almost believed he was sincere, although when he speaks, I still see that smug smile, like he's not a person talking but a sales representative with a presentation. I then got in the car, punched the dashboard and swore loudly, but I'm working on myself. As for M, she's just wonderful. Now she sits confidently on her own. She gets into crawling position, though she just rocks back and forth for now. I'm competitive and hope she crawls for the first time when I'm there. I want to see all her milestones first, and I'll probably keep score. She's already developing a personality. I always felt she was an individual, but now she's really interacting with the world around her. Laughing, interested in everything. She's constantly babbling, loves making sounds, and when someone plays around with her, she makes funny sounds back. This is her favorite activity now. It's too early for real words, but I have the feeling she already wants to say something. Now I'm just trying to work on myself and not let my ex-wife and everything that happened over the last year and a half consume me. Many people advise me to start dating women again, but I just need a break. My ex didn't kill my interest in relationships. I don't think every woman is a liar and a traitor. It's not that I don't want to be with anyone. I just don't want anything serious right now. At the same time, I don't feel ready to enter into any casual relationships. Not that I'm fundamentally against it, I just don't want to focus on that now. There have been opportunities, but I just didn't want to. They say it's true. A man with a child attracts special attention. One woman from work just wouldn't give up. She cooked food for me, bought gifts for M, offered to babysit her. She's attractive, yes, even hot, but not my type. I never thought I could hook up with her. Once we all went out for drinks, and she started touching me, tried to hold my hand, stroke me, acted very pushy. To be honest, I thought about just sleeping with her. It would have been easy, but then I decided against it. I don't think she wanted just one intimate night, and honestly, that's all that would work for me right now. Yes, the very idea of sleeping with someone without obligations definitely seems tempting. At least now, while I'm not ready for a real relationship. But on the other hand, now that I have a daughter, it's much harder for me to justify such behavior to myself. Update 19: Medical Records and Recovery. Quite a lot of time has passed since the last update, and I still get messages almost daily with concerns about my daughter's shoulder and what my ex-wife or her boyfriend might have done to her. I'm sincerely grateful for the care, Apparently, it's time to share the news. I filed